Hello, my name is JenniferGuidos. I chose to make my presentation on violence and maltreatment in intimate relationships for Spanish-speaking high school students. The reason I chose to do my presentation on VMIR for high school students and Spanish speakers specifically is because I work in a high school with students that are new to the US, and I've come to realize that there is not as much information available for them as there is for the students that are English speaking. Being Latina, I know that being in my culture, VMIR is not a subject that is generally spoken about in our households, even though it is a common occurrence throughout our culture. One of the first things I wanted to clarify with the students was what an intimate relationship actually was. For many, an intimate relationship was a relationship that you have with your partner, such as boyfriend or girlfriend. However, I wanted to explain to them that an intimate relationship is a relationship that implies an intimate physical or emotional connection. These relationships can be with family, friends, partners, and just other people we may have close to us. I also wanted to explain to my students what are some of the elements that a healthy intimate relationship has. Things like having trust and compromise, being interdependent of each other, responsibility towards each other, and just a general sense of care and knowledge of each other. I also wanted to explain to them what VMIR actually is. VMIR is anything that could be defined as an act that causes or has the intention of causing harm to another person, whether it be physical or emotional. A big thing in Latino culture when we do speak of violence in intimate relationships is that we generally think that women and children are the only ones that suffer. However, I wanted to really bring to the attention of my students that anybody can suffer and become victims of violence and maltreatment. In our class text, Violence and Maltreatment in Intimate Relationships, we read about everyone being at risk: kids, women, men, members of the LGBTQ plus community, and the elderly. Of course, there are some groups that are at higher risk than others. Later on, when I was looking at youth.com websites, I read some of the effects of being a victim of maltreatment and violence in intimate relationships and was able to pass along the information to my students. These problems are extensive. Victims can end up with problems with mental health. They may experience feelings of shame and of being at fault for the acts that were committed against them. They may also have loss of memory or feelings that what they went through was surreal. One of the most impactful to me was that victims experience thoughts of suicide, social, emotional problems such as shame, low self-esteem, and antisocial behavior. While some students already knew of some of the effects of victims, there was some effects that they were not fully aware of. Things like how it could affect your physical health. VMIR can cause obesity and chronic pain. I'm looking forward to continuing this goal of educating students new to this country on this topic, especially since it is a topic that is very important to me. Being Latina and having come to this country as an immigrant when I was younger, I want to continue helping communities that represent me. Thank you for taking the time to hear and see my presentation.